This is the Larry Steinhouse Show. I'm so excited again. It's every once in a while I have somebody come back because I'm really fascinated by the person and I enjoy first of all, I enjoyed the last interview, of course, but I also enjoy what they have going on in their life, and I like to talk about that. So today we have somebody that we had on before. We have Tom Corner on before, we have Tom Corner on, and we had him on before. And the guy's really cool. He's an author. He's a business leader. He's a mentor. And some of the cool things that Tom has done is he helps people, and his own purpose of understanding people's why. And I think that's an awesome thing because, I did a presentation a couple months ago, whatever it was, on my why. And I actually, Tom, you'll actually appreciate this. My why was because I was dying.
That's how you're going to open this up?
I know, isn't that horrible? But I'm not really dying. I'm just dying because we're all dying.
You're living.
I'm living, exactly.
You're
I know.
living,
All right, let me start again. Okay. Hey, everybody, this is Larry Steinhouse, and this is the Larry Steinhouse Show. Right here I have Tom Corner, who's going to tell us about his why. No?
I'm still figuring that out. That's what's awesome about it.
So tell me about why you're figuring out your why.
Because I'm trying to figure out how to live, right?
Right, but don't you think so now I'm going to counsel you for a minute. I'm going to mentor you.
Yes.
So you've written books, right?
I have.
So tell me about first of all, tell me about this book, right?
Yes.
Mommy, why do you have two birthdays? Okay?
Yes.
So this is the book, Mommy, why do you have two we're on camera. There we go. Mommy, why do you have two birthdays? So tell me about this book, and then I'm going to go into your why, because I actually think you found your why and don't know it. I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed by you.
Yes. And thank you, Larry. Thank you. It's awesome. That's a good one right there. He's impressed, and I'm good. So I was talking to Ken before this. We were talking about what was happening in my life, and I consider myself a real-time author. And because I'm publishing my memoir that I gave you last time based on about a year ago. So everything's in somewhat real time as close as possible based on my life experiences. So to answer your question is, yes, I am figuring out my why. I know what my why is. The interesting thing that I'm learning is I was telling Ken, I'm bridging the realms of two different worlds, Larry. And there's being in the corporate world and working on a career is different than being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
But to become a corporation, you have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. And eventually, if it's successful, it grows. And my mindset was that I'm writing because I needed to find my why, and I need to figure out why in my memoir why I was so angry. And I published that book, Mommy, Why Do You Have Two Birthdays? That was before my memoir, and that's a memoir about my wife. And she was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma back in around Christmas time of 2003. And she had a 12-centimeter mass in her chest. And we lived in Arizona, and our life was awesome. We were married. We lived in Arizona. She had a great career that I helped her with, and we traveled a lot. And then all of a sudden, we went to the doctor, and they said, you probably have non-Hodgkin lymphoma. And we don't know, and you don't know what that is. Nobody knows what that is until it affects their life. And so in a matter of 2-3 weeks, we became experts on this disease because we had to. And my wife triumphed over it. We found the right doctor, and she survived. But I carried the fear of that for years, and I published her memoir for her to honor her. But it was very cathartic for me because I was afraid of talking about her past and what happened to her, mentioning, I say the C word, cancer. And publishing that was a release for me. I didn't realize it at the time. And then I published my book. So my why is I'm finding it out, and I'm trying to find out why do we do what we do? And everybody has their own reason to do it. And I'm right in the middle of that because I've made some big changes in my life that the rest of the world, Larry, would say you are out of your mind. And my wife...
They always say that about me. So I
right,
understand.
and my wife, I love her. She's awesome, and she grounds me. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, she wants to just wring my neck.
Oh, I totally get that. That makes total sense. Sure. So and I listen to you, and actually, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do something I don't usually do, but I'm going to coach you because I see in your face,
yes,
you're struggling.
I am
with what you think your why should be.
Yep.
When the really wild part is, I think you've already found it.
I found that what my challenge is, Larry, is how to monetize it.
Oh,
To make a living and provide for my family.
wait.
That
So maybe it's not that. Maybe you don't monetize it. All right. So and here you go. So here's just some interesting coaching. All right?
Yes.
So how much did I charge you to be on the Larry Steinhouse Show today?
Nothing.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
It's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we've had I don't know 30, 40, 50 shows. I don't know. You know how much I've charged every single one of those people?
Nothing.
The same amount I charged you.
Right.
Okay. My wife for doing the show is not okay. I would love to monetize it. Anyone want to give me $1,000
Right.
to be on my show? IM me right now. I'll take $1,000 to be on my show. But that's not why I do the show. I don't do the show because I want to monetize it.
Right.
I do the show because I really enjoy it.
Right.
So when I see your why, you first of all you enjoy
I do.
edifying your wife, which is amazing, right? You enjoy the fact that you're living life like other people don't get to live. You ever notice that, like the people
Yes.
that tell you that you shouldn't be living your life the way you're living are living miserable lives? You know why, right? They want you to be as miserable as them.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They don't understand it. They don't even understand that they want you to be as miserable as them, but that's why they're doing it.
Yes.
So don't let that happen to people. Don't let that happen to you. I'm sorry. Don't let that happen to you.
Oh.
Enjoy
I'm not.
it. So sometimes you have to have a different way of earning money. There's so many different ways of earning
Right.
money, and so you have a different way of earning money. But don't give up on your purpose, your why, and your fun.
No.
And what happens is when you don't give up on your purpose, sometimes it doesn't monetize by itself. You don't even realize it. I mean, look. I was teaching. The story of investment school. I was teaching real estate for years, and I was doing it because I was a real estate agent. I thought, hey, how cool is this? I'll get real estate investor clients.
Right.
And I thought it was a great idea. But then I realized it was so much bigger than that. And I started teaching people for fun, for free, and realized that nobody paid attention when I gave them to them for free.
Right.
And now when you start charging them, they actually pay attention and they do more. So
Yes.
even though I charge them money, I'm doing them a favor by charging them money. I know it's an odd thing to say, but
Yep.
that's exactly what happens. I want to make sure that they're successful.
Yes.
So now I'm going to ask you a question. You ready?
Yes,
What
I'm
is
ready.
what is your why?
My why is, my why, wow. I'm right in the middle of just solidifying this, Larry. My why is to, at the end of the day, find out who I truly am, and to be able to do that for anybody else who crosses my path in life.
So would you say your why is to help other people find their why?
Absolutely.
All right. No,
And as I help them, and I have people that I spend time with to help them find their why, as I do that, it's also helping me
absolutely.
down the path.
Absolutely. So here's a little bit of a problem with your thought, though.
Right.
If you can't explain what your why is to someone,
Yep.
you can't help them find their why.
Yes.
So you got to be solid in your why. If your
Absolutely.
why is for me to help you find your why, then you just say it. So
Yes.
next time say, Tom, what's your why?
To help you find your why, Larry.
Beautiful. There you go. Now look at that. I'm hoping somebody noticed it. But did you see his face from the beginning of this interview to now? You look different because you now settled in that, which is
I am.
really cool.
I'm right in the middle of it, and that's why I'm here.
Isn't
I
that cool?
know that's why it came up again for me to come here and meet
You're
with you.
you're probably right. It may have been that simple. 8 minutes into the show, right? We've already solved all the problems of the world. Have a nice day. See you, everybody. No, I'm only kidding. But that's awesome, man. So
Yeah.
now I'm curious. So
Yes.
So what are you going to do with this information?
Yeah. That is, like I said, Larry, I'm right in the middle of that. And next time I come in and speak to you, I'll know it.
No.
But
I want you to start to think right now. And look, I know it's it's literally a live coaching session,
This
which
is
is
live.
really weird and not really
is
the
awesome.
base of the show, right?
This is
And I
great,
actually
though.
think it's going to be great for you, maybe somebody else watching.
Absolutely,
But
yes.
but let's see. So let's think about it. So what are you going to do with this newfound knowledge? Oh, it's okay. Be honest with
This
yourself.
is one I planned for when I came here, but I think I needed it
Okay.
because I've made some big changes in my life. I see the world completely differently, and it's fighting through your fears, and that's where I can help people because a lot that I've done I didn't do before because I was too afraid to do it.
Okay.
And I got to a point, which I capture in my memoir, about just being too. You get to a point when Tony Robbins says real change is when the pain of remaining the same exceeds the pain to change.
Yep.
Which I absolutely get, but the other part to finish that is if that change takes place with the wrong mindset, you may make the change, but you still may not be on the path that you need to go.
If you believe that it's true, by the way.
I believe,
Right?
yes.
If you believe that it's true.
have to
And
believe.
I don't know if it's true or not, but if you believe it is true, I don't know if that's true or not. I think any change in any direction away from a bad direction is a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yep. And so my intent is, in the meantime, I've done a number of book signing events on the East Coast. I've been on 20 or so interviews,
Right.
podcasts, and it's talking about that, fighting through your anger and your why. And interesting, you said I did all that for free.
Sure, absolutely.
And reaching out to help
and you
people.
enjoyed it, right?
It was great.
Right.
It was the greatest thing ever. And it's just it's a matter of, and this is what I love about this, is because I'm not telling people that I'm something that they're not or they can't be, or I'm more than they are. We're the same, and I want to elevate them the same way together. And it's just still I have that residual doubt or lack of belief that I can actually do it, and I've done it, and it's been amazing. And so the next part of it is it a matter of consulting, coaching, helping people find their path and career, helping them just be able to come out and speak and be comfortable speaking. It's even about interviewing for a job. All of that I could teach.
Okay.
And
Do you have students who you've taught this to?
in business, I have just
Okay,
as working
sure.
with colleagues. They'd come
Okay.
to me and I'd help them speak, present. I have people that I sit down with and I'll say mentor that are looking to figure out what am I doing with my life, with my relationship. So I sit down and I'll spend time with them, and it's great because I can tell, and like you could pick up my energy, Larry. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I came in here and I was my energy was a little off. I'll feel that with people, and I'll know that they're ready to sit down with me. If they're not, I'm not going to fight it. I'll just let them come back to me.
You can't want it more than they do.
Right.
I say that all the time.
Yep. And you put it out there, and I put it out there with people, and I said, listen, I'll sit down and talk with you if you just want to work through what you're going through. And I said this to a friend of mine, and I knew that they weren't going to do it because they were just, their energy was off.
Sure.
I said, but just so you know, I'll talk to you. And then I publish my interviews and a blog article. And the blog article, Larry, was called "Hate Myself?" ? And it was, I was frustrated with myself, and I was walking my dog this past spring, and I realized how frustrated with myself, and I said, I hate myself because I don't think I've become all that I feel I should be. And I realized I can't really hate myself, Larry. It's the false belief system, my limited belief system, or these beliefs that I created in my past that I hate. It's not me. And I published it in an article, and that friend pinged me and said, "Can we sit down and have coffee?"
That's great.
How do you work through all the noise? So I've been going through that, and I'm right in the middle of it because I've created a lot of noise, or just to break through the resistance and the bad energy. That's me.
That person that you spoke to.
Yes.
Have you spoken to him before and checked on his update? And have you been updated on his progress?
We sat down. Yes, but I let them go. We sat down, spent a couple hours with coffee, and what happens, I'll sit down and I'll just let them speak.
Okay, great, excellent.
And I usually come up with affirmations based on their energy, and I'll
Sure.
text them an affirmation. And it's still, they're slowly working on it.
Okay.
But it's making that impact. And here's what came from it, Larry, and this is where I'm practicing, and I'm in the middle of making sense of all this, is I learned to break through all that self-doubt by meditating, which we
Okay.
talked about last time.
Sure,
You said, I don't
absolutely, yeah.
meditate. And I said, yeah,
Yeah.
you really do. You
Yeah.
just don't think you do.
No, I know.
Right.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
I actually said I don't, but then I went
You
back
do.
and I said I did, right? Because
Yeah,
I
right.
sat on my porch, although that's driving me nuts because the weather's so bad I can't do it anymore. But okay, so
Yes.
so
So to answer your question, affirmation, okay. And I said to my friend, I said, you owe it to yourself to give yourself 15 seconds in the morning and 15 seconds at night, 30 seconds a day, to be nice to yourself. It took me a long time to figure that out, and I changed my thought process. I came in here carrying a little bit of my fears from the past. And there's 86,400 seconds in a day, Larry. Think about it.
I don't even want to know that.
86,000
I don't even want to know
seconds.
that.
But most people, just like I was
Right.
thinking,
Sure.
I said to my friend, here's an affirmation, just a few sentences about their energy of loving themselves. You can recite it right when you get out of bed in the morning, say it to yourself.
Sure.
And before you go to bed at night, set the stage for the next day and be nice to yourself. And they said, I can't do it.
Are you a Napoleon Hill fan?
And you mentioned Napoleon Hill
Yeah, sure.
on
Yeah.
your preview for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so to your point, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, I've had that book for a decade or more, and I never fully read it cover to cover. I read bits and pieces. I wasn't ready. You know when that was published? What year?
30-something?
37.
Yeah, okay.
1937. And they originally they cleaned it up because he talks about vibrational energy, and they said, no, that's kind of, that's witch
Woo-woo?
talk.
Yeah, woo-woo, right.
So
Now they call it woo-woo. Yeah.
I read, right, and I read that original version. And that book, Larry, is almost, it was published in 37. It was based on decades of research, so it's a century old.
Right.
And it's more relevant today than ever
Absolutely
before.
True. Right.
And so, yes, I am a fan, and I finally read that book from cover to cover.
How many times?
Well, that's why I said I've had it. That was the first time I read it from cover to cover. I'm going to go back. I'm reading Principles right now from Ray Dalio, which he talks about meditation. He talks about the mind. And he's an ultra successful money manager, asset manager with Bridgewater and Associates. But he's talking about what Napoleon Hill talked about with Henry Ford and all these visionaries. And yes, to answer your question, I am, and I believe in that, and that's my why. That's my path, is to go down and to do that. And even though it's been talked about time and time again, why are people publishing books and talking about it? Because we're so resistant, and we're resistant to what we could do. The whole world's out there for us to conquer, and we get to a certain point. And I'm working with a friend who's a business colleague on helping advisors with healthcare planning. And he said, if we do this, we're probably going to have to hire people because we'll only be able to do so much, and which I agree with. But it's also, we can do more. Don't limit yourself to he has a mindset that he can only make so much. So to answer your question, that's my why, is to do that for myself and also help people along the way.
So tell me about this other book. You have this other book. It's and let me see if I can show it.
Life is fine when you're aligned.
Let me even do this. Yeah, life is fine when you're aligned. Exactly. Right. Let me see if I can get there. We go. Life is fine when you're aligned.
Yes.
Okay, so you're a chiropractor now.
Yes.
I couldn't resist.
I'll adjust your back.
It was just
right after.
It was just there, right? It was just there. So
you may not walk right.
Yeah, right. So when you say aligned, what does that mean?
Align with your energy.
All right, cool.
And your beliefs.
So how does somebody find their energy or align with their energy? So is there an exercise that somebody can do? I know there's some meditation before. That's fine, but is there an exercise somebody can do, or is there something that
it's paying attention to your thoughts?
Okay. So
I'm totally aware of my thoughts coming in here, and I carried them in here.
So when you come, so that's interesting because you came in here earlier, and we watched the transformation of your face a little while ago. Well, when
I'm teaching people that.
When you first sat down, right? What were your thoughts that made you were tense, you were tight? What happened?
Because I've created a lot of orneriness, a lot of what people call chaos in my life because of I had to find my why.
So you talk about anger, you talk about chaos. Tell me why anger and chaos keep coming up in the words you described.
Because that's the way. That's a lot what I used to carry, and it prevented me from seeing how successful I was, and it's preventing me from being as successful as I can be. And
So-
that's most
here we
people
go.
that aren't aware of that.
Beautiful. So you just said it's keeping you from being successful.
In my mind,
In your mind.
I'm very, very successful. People talk to me.
Are you still angry?
Am I still angry? No, I'm
so
not.
then if you're not angry anymore and you say it's keeping you from being successful, make that go away.
Yes, and that's exactly it. And I'm in the middle of that right now, is making that go away, and because of the steps I've taken in my life have been very, very difficult, and it's interesting. I visualized what I was going to do, and
I do it all the time. I agree.
and I knew there would be challenges ahead, but I had to prepare myself mentally to walk myself through that. But what happens is the rest of the world, they look at it and react to it, and especially if they're loved ones in your family, then it comes back and it affects you. And so I'm right in the middle of it. I'm right on the edge of breaking through.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know yet, and that's why I need to come back. I'm going to come back and speak to you, but I'm right in the middle.
we can have a private session, I think.
Yeah, no, but
we don't have to have the session on in front of everybody. But yeah, we can have a private session.
I'm in the middle of that, and I have a lot of different things going on, and it's me knowing that I can do all these things at once, and so it's I don't have the answer for you because I'm right in the middle of planning it.
So now.
But life is fine when you're aligned. Go back to that question.
Yeah.
So I handed you those two books I published at the same time, March of 2017. That's my third children's book. That's my middle daughter on the cover, Jordan.
Great.
So being a parent, Larry, as I mentioned, I grew up with a lot of doubt and anger. And Napoleon Hill, I'm a big fan of. Did you get that on the screen?
I got it wrong one, but yeah.
And so I published my first book to help my kids work through any doubt that they have. Life is Fine When You're Aligned is about Kylie is the protagonist of the story, based on my daughters and me.
So you talk about your daughter being a protagonist.
Yeah.
That's interesting. No,
Yeah.
I mean it's fascinating that was she upset about that?
No.
Okay, good. I'm just curious. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. That's why I was curious.
Right. No. Well, first of all, she'd have to be able to spell it and know what it is. Same with me, right?
Okay.
So we're good there. But that's about the character of Kylie and just things that come across her path in life, and it comes up. Either you get frustrated about it and you give up, or you channel your thoughts and say, all right, this will work out. And it's talking about events that happened to my daughter, but I capture it in the story about Kylie, who's the main character. And the prior book is Positive Thoughts, Positive Life. So it's all about my perspective on my life growing up, the illusions that I carried of doubt and negative thoughts, and to share it with the world. They're really for adults. If you read it, Larry, it's actually a great life lesson for adults, but most adults don't want to admit it, so we just put it in a children's book. But it's actually for kids, because I did a couple assemblies at my daughter's school and my niece's school, and I tell them a story about Jordan getting one question wrong on her spelling test in first grade, and how hard she was on herself. And I asked the school, like 100 elementary kids, what do you think she was saying to herself because she got one word wrong out of 20 or so words? And she did great, but one word. And both assemblies, the little boy in the front, Larry, raises his hand. And I said, what do you think she said? He goes, I'm bad, right? And then another kid goes, I'm stupid.
Yep.
And all this self-doubt filled the auditorium until a little girl in the back said, I gave my best. And that was it. But how could kids at such an early age carry so much doubt in their life? Mm-hmm. And you carry it and you don't know it. So how do people become aware, change their thoughts? You have to become aware of what I call the mosh pit of your mind, right?
So I have to do this.
Yeah.
We're technically out of time.
Okay.
But it's fascinating. So tell me, and actually we're the cliffhanger we're leaving people will make them want to read the book. So tell me how they can get your book. Yeah,
you can go to I have two websites. Go to borrowedeyesandfeet.com, Borrowed Eyes and Feet. That's the title of my latest memoir. Mm-hmm. that will give you videos on the mosh pit of your mind and 86,400 seconds a day about being nice to yourself for 30 seconds. My main website is being updated, but feel free to visit it. It's actually being updated right now, tomcorner.net, tomcorner.net. But go there, check it out.
Okay, great.
And that's my why, is I can
awesome,
help
man.
you out as you help me out
I love it,
together.
Man. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Larry.
Wave to everybody. Say goodbye.
You're awesome. Thanks.
Awesome.